Am I the asshole for having a snack? For background, I'm recovering from an eating disorder. Part of my recovery means that if I'm hungry, I need to eat. I need to get used to responding to hunger by eating. If I don't eat when I'm hungry, it can become a habit, and I could relapse. I know that's hard for a lot of people to understand, but it's the best way I can explain it. I always carry snacks to accommodate this. My boyfriend asked me to go to a family event with him at his aunt's house. Dinner was at 6:30, but the gathering started at 4 and we were on time. Around 5:30 I started to feel hungry, so I ate a small granola bar from my purse to reinforce the eat when you're hungry rule. Dinner was at 6:30 and excellent. When we left, my boyfriend was upset. He said I offended his family by eating a snack before dinner was served and implied they were bad hosts. He said I should have waited. I reminded him that I have to eat when I'm hungry. He said dinner was in an hour and should have been sufficient to enforce the rule, but it doesn't work that way. I have to eat as soon as I realize I'm hungry, or it's a slippery slope that could lead to me going days without food. Boyfriend was angry and accused me of just wanting attention and being inconsiderate. Should I have waited? Was I being too rigid? Update. We broke up. We had a long talk about what happened, and he couldn't acknowledge that I know what's best for my recovery. He said relationships are about compromise. I said that doesn't apply to my health. He said it applies to everything. I said we should give each other space. Thank you everyone. Without your comments, I wouldn't have had the confidence to stand up for myself. Not the asshole. You are exactly correct, and your boyfriend is more concerned with appearances than your well-being. Not the asshole seems to me it's the other way around, and he's the one being too rigid. You have a valid explanation as to why you had a snack, and anyone in the know would be understanding of that. Not the asshole. Your boyfriend seems like he doesn't really understand the importance of your recovery and making sure that the rules are followed to prevent a relapse. Not the asshole. Your health is more important than pleasing people or keeping up appearances. Recovering from an eating disorder is a difficult process. Do not let ignorant people stop you from doing what you need to do to get better. Edit. Changed to eating disorder. Thought Op said she was recovering from anorexia. Not the asshole. Health outweighs manners. Under normal circumstances I can see where it could be interpreted as rude. However, if you were diabetic eating to level out your blood sugar, no one would have batted an eye. That's essentially what you did. You ate at that exact moment because your treatment dictated you needed to eat right then for your health. Edited because I can't spell this morning. Not the asshole. Dump the boyfriend though. He's more worried about what his family thinks than your health. Also 16 to 18.30 without nibbles? They were shitty hosts. Am I the asshole for refusing not to suggestively eating a banana? I'm a 36 male and I work as a programmer in a medium-sized office with probably around 20 people in the office at one time. One of our older employees retired this year and HR brought in a young woman to work. I often enjoy eating a banana for a quick break if I'm working on something and don't want to leave my desk. Yesterday was one of these days. I ate my banana, threw out the skin and went back to work. Today I was hauled into HR's office. Someone has made a complaint that I was making aggressive and unwanted sexual advances towards them. I'm baffled. I asked who and when this happened. Sure enough, it was new girl and they said it was yesterday. I tell HR I left my desk twice yesterday to go to the bathroom, but I had no contact with new girl. I haven't spoken to her in about a week. Then HR tells me that she has accused me of making suggestive gestures and inappropriately eating my banana in her direction. She wants me fired or she will sue. I'm outraged. I tell them I have done nothing wrong. I ate a banana at my desk, like a normal person would eat a banana. There was nothing inappropriate about it. Our suggested I write a letter of apology to new girl and refrain from bringing bananas to work. I refused as I've literally done nothing wrong in my opinion. Our said I need to consider the potential hostile work environment I'm creating if I continue to bring bananas to work. I thanked them for their time, left the meeting and started asking around about my banana eating habits. Everyone I know doesn't see an issue with it, but a few people have said if I'm making her uncomfortable, maybe I should just stop. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Sorry she takes it wrong, but that's her problem. It's a banana. Are you supposed to eat it like corn on the cob? I'd outright refuse too while bringing a banana every day. If HR makes another deal about it, just say you'll sue for wrongful termination and discrimination. For your banana. Not the asshole. I would literally video myself every time I ate a banana from now on. Maybe even cut it up and eat it with a fork. She's going to make some ridiculous allegation about someone else next and HR will see that she's the liability. I would absolutely refuse to write an apology as that would admit wrongdoing. I'd also refuse to interact with her without another person present. Not the asshole. What kind of a situation is this, OMG? She's new and is already making problems. The fact that they are treating you that way, I would leave. Also, are there cameras? I'm in our. What I would do is flip this around and file a complaint against her for sexualizing you. She took an innocent act and made it sexual. Not the asshole. Stand strong on this. Do not admit fault here. Not in an apology, not in passing. Make HR do their job. File a complaint on her for harassment and creating a hostile work environment. Fuck her and the banana-shaped horse she rode in on. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, that girl got problems. Maybe she is jealous of how well you can eat the bananas, haha. You did nothing wrong and she might just be envy on you for some reason and tries to use anything to sabotage you. I don't get these kind of people either, it's like they were living under a rock. Am I the asshole for telling my neighbor to mind her own business? I'm a single mother to an 11-year-old girl. We recently got moved from the UK to America by my company and it has been quite an adjustment, but we're settling in well enough. She misses her friends and the family we left behind, but we Zoom regularly and she has begun to make new friends, especially after I found her a new dojang to continue her taekwondo. All in all, everything was going fine except for one thing. Our next-door neighbor is a som to 3 girls aged 12, 10 and 6. She is quite nosy and always poking around and trying to talk to us. I put this down to just curiosity plus perhaps me misreading her intentions as I'm still adjusting to how people can be here. The issue came however 3 days ago where she came round and I let her in for some coffee. She tried to convince me to sign my daughter up some kind of preteen beauty pageant. I won't lie, I was shocked by this. I don't know anyone who does this kind of thing and they seem disgusting to me. I didn't want to be rude as apparently all 3 of her girls do it, so I didn't share that thought and instead I told her it really wasn't my daughter's cup of tea as she is a total tomboy and always wearing jeans and whatever gaming t-shirt she can find. My neighbor tutted at this and said she'd seen and commented on what a waste it was as my daughter was so pretty and I was letting her waste her potential with all those boy things. She even tried to suggest it was something our girls could bond over and how she'd teach her how to walk and dress and do make up for it and how it would be much more fun than fighting and getting bruises. I won't lie, I was getting angry at this and told her that my daughter was much too young for that kind of thing and I wouldn't force her either as I knew she'd have no interest. She tried to say we should ask her and that I shouldn't make this kind of choice on my own and implied that with how busy I must be at work it was normal girly things would slip by me and it's okay. At this point I told her to get out of my house and to mind her own business and to not dare question how I parent my daughter. Bringing up I was polite enough not to say how disgusting I think it is she makes her daughters do those kind of pageants. This led to a lot of gasping and shocked anger from her before she stormed out. I've had a little time to cool off since then and maybe I snapped too easily. It's tough raising my daughter alone and I didn't like the implication I was failing her in some way, plus I know these shows are more common in America than the UK, so maybe I tripped over some cultural landmine. Since then every time she sees me and my daughter she gives us very dirty looks. Did I fuck up here? Should I try to mend the rift I caused? Maybe I misread what she intended to be kind as an attack. Still not letting my daughter do pageants though. Not the asshole. Sounds like either she can't handle girls veering from the traditional, uber-feminine path, or one or more of her daughters was asking why they had to do those pageants when other girls like your daughter don't have to and why couldn't they do taekwondo like your daughter. Did you move to the southern states? Because this sounds like a very southern suburban mom vibe from the lady you described. I'm from the south, so I'm quite familiar. Either way, not the asshole. People like this will step all over you if you don't set boundaries and expectations. They take advantage of people's instinct to be kind and non-confrontational to be assholes. You're definitely not the asshole. Not the asshole whatsoever. If she wanted to convince you, she should have addressed your concerns and pointed out little-known benefits, not attacked your parenting. I'm dying to know which state you're in. Not the asshole. The way you raise your daughter is nobody else's business. Although in some states, especially southern, these pre-teen pageants are quite common. And I personally agree with you, they lead to early sexualization of children, gross and typical of a certain sector of American culture and hypocrisy. Just my 2c. Your neighbor clearly overstepped her boundaries. If I know the type, Unfortunately, I have to warn you to be ready for never-ending harassment and passive-aggressive behavior on her part from now on. Not the asshole. They aren't the norm here, and usually pageant moms either have a bad representative, and are made fun of. While there can be benefits to doing pageants, like scholarships and stuff, generally they are just toxic. You didn't trip over any cultural norms, she was being a pushy busybody. Not the asshole. She offered and you declined. She should have left it alone. She sounds like a pageant mom. Trust me. There are more American moms that hate the pageant thing than there are moms who like the pageant thing. People just get caught up. She was pressuring you to do it, she should have offered and let it go. I was a tomboy too. Nothing wrong with jeans and t-shirts. Am I the asshole for telling his fiancé and parents that he's stalking me? I am a 27-year-old woman and I briefly dated a guy in college. He got really clingy and wouldn't let me break up with him, and I ended up moving apartments. So years later, a few times a year I get social media requests from extra accounts he's made after I blocked him. I figured it was him, but some sleuthing confirmed it. I just kept not approving those new follow requests and deleting anyone off my social media if I wasn't sure who they were. I also found out he got access to my work calendar for a little while by making a fake client account. Actual clients of mine can see my availability to book meetings, but he was just trying to see when I was working, I think. But I recently moved back to my old town and I joined a hiking group, and then guess who happened to be into hiking? I damn near shit a brick when I saw him and I just left. I took a picture before I went and I went home to figure out what to do. I didn't want this guy in my business anymore, he was honestly scaring me, but cops don't really do shit until an actual crime has happened. And making 15 fake Instagrams and showing up at one hiking group didn't seem like something they'd take seriously. So I filed a report anyway, but didn't expect it to go anywhere. Then I also unblocked him long enough to find his mom's and dad's Facebook account. And when I did, I also realized he was engaged to a woman. I was pissed off first that he was being so creepy, then that he was doing that when engaged secretly. So I took my screenshots of 15 Instagram accounts, fake client account, etc. He made an evidence of them being linked to his phone number and sent them to his family and fiancé along with the picture from hiking. And I said that I dated this man in college 6 years ago, and multiple times a year he tries to circumvent the fact that I have him blocked on social media by making fake accounts to friend me. And he showed up where I was at. And I filed a police report, and if any of them care about him at all, they better talk some sense into him and tell him he best leave me alone, because if he kept coming around or trying to con me into giving him access to my life or location info on social media, L would be pursuing it legally. His parents didn't answer at first, but his fiancé flipped out at me, calling me a liar. Then his parents chimed in the group chat saying that they would have a talk with their son, but the way I brought this to their attention with a Facebook Messenger group was insensitive. I got frustrated and said that being stalked was insensitive and I would appreciate it if they took this up with their son instead of me. And I was trying to give them the change to hear it from me, when he still has a chance to cut it out, not from a collect call from jail. The three of them blocked me, but I haven't heard a thing from my ex. I don't know if his family or girl believes me, but I'm hoping that the fact that they probably asked him about it scared him straight. Am I the asshole for having put a stop to stalking like this? NTA. You're already being very nice about it considering what a creep he is. If she still wants to marry him, it's really on her. Who knows? Maybe she dumps his ass, and he switches target. Which is also pretty horrifying. Not the asshole. While they probably can't force him to stop stalking you, there's a 100% chance they can't even influence him if they don't know there's a problem. They are likely embarrassed and reacted poorly by calling you insensitive. You had every right to lose any sensitivity the first time you had to move to try to get him out of your life. You are Sue, not the asshole. I'm sorry you're going through this. Since he probably knows that you've reached out to his family, I'm sorry to say that this is a potentially dangerous time. He might escalate and try to see you, cause problems at your work, etc. So I highly suggest contacting a local domestic violence org to get their suggestions and support. They, unfortunately, deal with this all the time, so they can provide you with ways to protect yourself and might have legal support on staff so you can get a protective order, and other things to do. Wishing you lots of luck and safety, and that this asshat disappears from your life, and also doesn't do the same to his fiancée when she breaks up with him. Not the asshole. Filing the police report was the right thing. Also look at your state laws regarding stalking. You can also speak to one of the domestic violence detectives at your local police department and see what they recommend. Telling his family was the right thing as well. But you are also entering the danger zone because you have publicly humiliated him. Look at the domestic violence power and control wheel. Then compare to his actions. Don't think he is gone and keep watching your back. Not the asshole. Love the dismissal of the parents saying you are being insensitive. How the heck is using Messenger insensitive? It is insensitive of them to be dismissing this, and with proof of years of harassment and stalking. Frankly, I don't expect anything to change, but at least you have lots of documentation. Not the asshole. You did the right thing, he has been out of line for years. The fiancé's reaction is understandable. She probably didn't want to believe it, so I wouldn't take her comments personally. And the way you did it was not insensitive. You had no other option. Meeting them in person could trigger this guy to escalate his behavior. I hope for your sake he stops and leaves you alone now, and I hope she doesn't marry that nut. Wishing you the best op. Edit changed a word for grammar errors. Edit 2 Wow, my first ever award. Thanks stranger. Less than 3.